in South Australia, in McLaren Vale, just south of Adelaide, maybe 45 minutes. So on one side, to the west, it has the sea. To the east and wrapping around it, it has a range of hills around 400, 500 metres. And it produces wines that have got just natural extract and flavour. Coriol started around 69. I started working here in 1980, so it's my family business. The two sort of real handles that we have is Shiraz, because we have very old Shiraz, and then we've been the main mover in Australia for new varieties. So now we bundle those up into a group called the New Australian Collection. The first Fiano in Australia, some of the first Nero, Barbera, Picpoul is producing Sangiovese vineyard. It's exciting because you're always learning new things. Virtually every vintage we have something new to discover.
The great thing about working here at D'Arenberg is we get to host experiences like this. It's quite unique. It's a hosted experience for Indian Pacific Platinum guests. They get to look at 6 wines in total, 3 whites, 2 reds and a Botrytis, which is a dessert wine. I take them through the history of D'Arenberg and then we look at each wine, we smell, we taste and we go through the vintages and the stories behind the names. Darrow's is a 105-year-old family-owned winery, so Chester is our chief winemaker, chief viticulturalist and current owner, and he's responsible for the cube. It was actually his great-grandfather that started D'Arenberg back in 1912.
Port Wollonga has been a part of my life for a very long time. I used to come here as a girl, and so to now be back here in a restaurant just living a few moments away, it's such a special place. The Star of Greece is located on the cliff top of the Port Wollonga beach, which is part of the beautiful McLaren Vale region. Guests from the Indian Pacific arrive here and many of them have got the cameras at the ready to watch the beautiful sunset that occurs right outside. It is one of the most beautiful picturesque beaches in Australia. We have created this fantastic dish just for guests of the Indian Pacific, utilising King George whiting, which is synonymous with South Australia. We've accompanied that with some lovely local fresh produce just to make it something very, very special and unique to the region, but having just the most beautiful outlook you can imagine.
I've been collecting minerals and rocks and fossils, since I would have been 8 or 9 or something like that. My mum used to take me and a friend to a quarry in the school holidays with a packed lunch, and Mum would just say, "I'll come and pick you up at 5 o'clock." I digress. My name's Ben, and I run the Earth Sciences collections here at the South Australian Museum. Australia is an amazing place, geologically and biologically. We're pivotal in our understanding of the biological and geological evolution of the planet and of the universe. The first thing that our Indian Pacific guests are going to see when they enter the South Australian Museum is actually the largest collection in the world of Aboriginal cultural artefacts. South Australia has produced over 80% of the world's precious opal. But more importantly, a lot of it is actually opalised fossils. Now, these are the opalised replacement of remains of animals that lived in the sea 100 million years ago when the dinosaurs were around. The oldest complex animal life on the planet is found in the rocks of the Flinders Ranges, and here they get to actually be hands-on and touch their oldest ancestors. There's also the South Australian Biodiversity Gallery, where you'll see some of South Australia's iconic animals. Guests will then go down to the Foreign Mammals Gallery, where they'll be met with canapes and some nice drinks. I see the world through a geologist's eyes, and so you'll hear from me about why the Nullarbor Plain is flat and why it exists where it is, and you're going to see some amazing things. You'll get to hold something 4.5 billion years old, samples of gold from mines mined a century ago, and most of all, bones from weird and wonderful animals that roamed the Nullarbor Plains tens of thousands of years ago. It really is the ultimate experience to enrich their journey across the Nullarbor.
Information operations, are you receiving?
Receiving.
You can overstand clear on the north end of platform 1 for train movement, north end of platform 1.
The train has its own personality, its own feel. And when it passes the Adelaide jail, it's got a different sound, different different noise, a different groan. It knows it's coming home.
In the middle of Australia, pitch black, night sky, stars out, camels, and you walk around the corner and every guest that goes there is just in awe. It's perfect.
Anything you touch on the train is heavy. The train that just left here is 901 metres and 1,759 tonne. It's not a job. It does get into your blood.
Being away from home can be hard, but being on the train, they're your family. Like, I travel with the same people and they're my train family. And just the fact that you got to go off and do these tours, something different, it adds something more to talk about. It's just, I don't know, I love it.
Each night when I go to bed, I'll make sure my window's open so I can fall asleep to the stars. It's beautiful. It's nothing that you'll see in the city.
Yeah, have they finished the people moving task on platform 2?
Yeah, that's affirmative.
So I'm up at 5:30 to allow myself a little bit more time, because usually on the Gurn I'm working at one end of the train and I sleep at the other. It's good, you can get to work in 5 minutes, you don't have to worry about peak hour traffic in the car or anything like that.
So in a normal restaurant, I can't sit down and have a conversation, but here I can sit down and have a chat to one of my guests and hear about their stories.
Okay, operations confirmation.
They're not just a number, they're not just a customer, they are a guest. They are coming into our home, into our space. They like to share their stories and they like to feel that they're important, which on here they are.
Okay, Leroy, I'm clear. He's up on the pin.
Let's go.
It's a great way for people to escape their routine life. Some people are trapped in this little bubble and all of a sudden, bang, it's huge.
You're leaving Adelaide and the next day you wake up and it's like the red outback desert, dust everywhere.
Beautiful ghost gums, they light up like a bright light when the sun hits them. If you're heading into Katherine and it's 98% humidity and you've got these massive thunderclouds, as soon as you wake up you can feel it. You're like, yep, we're in Katherine. Rolling hills of these beautiful flowers, purple and yellow. And it's those moments that stick in your head and stick in your mind. Day in, day out, day in, day out.
Back and forth, back and forth.
I woke up and there's kangaroos looking, just looking in my window.
You can look out on either side of the train and for as far as the eye can see, you've got the horizon. When there's clouds and the sun hits the clouds, it's just beautiful. So you've got blues, you've got purples, you've got these amazing oranges, but it's not just this one little ball, it's the whole sky.
It is emotional for them and it is for us as well. We do get to form that friendship.
And so when you have to say goodbye, you're like, oh, that was fun. Let's keep going.